The Trump team search for a prospective Treasury Secretary continues. Joining us now with his thoughts on who would make the ideal candidate, Oklahoma Senator and Trump supporter, Markwayne Mullin. Senator, once again, it's good to have you on this morning.
Thanks for having me on, Joe.
Earlier, we were actually talking about this, and it's something interesting came to mind, and that is we know how much the president likes rising stock prices, and sometimes it appears that a measure of how well he thinks he's doing depends on the stock market. And we said, so, okay, that's an important component for Treasury Secretary, someone that can deliver that. Also, the president wants someone on board with his economic plans, which include tariffs. And our point was, wow, that is a difficult line to toe, if you will, to try to be fully behind him on tariffs and yet be able to do all that he can or he or she can to raise stock prices. Is that incongruous?
Well, Joe, one thing we know is the president knows business. He's been very successful in business. He's been very successful in running campaigns. He knows how to surround himself with the right people. And I wouldn't say that the president loves tariffs. What he loves is free trade. He loves access to markets. And what he has said multiple times about the tariffs is he's tired of selling out America. We need to be on an even playing field. People shouldn't just have access to us and us not access to them. And if they want to have free trade, meaning that we have complete access to their markets and they have the same access to us, then we're talking about having no tariffs. If you want to have just access to us and not give us access to you, your market, your population base, then we're going to even the playing field by the tariffs. And I don't think that's a hard market to sell. I think that is just putting America first. And that's what the president has talked about. Quit letting people take advantage of America. And people are sick of it. We saw that. That's why the American people overwhelmingly voted for President Trump in a way that I think none of us predicted.
Do you have a preference? And do you have any something that we don't know? Do you know anything we don't know about who's in the pole position to finally?
Well, obviously there's a lot of names being floated around, but I would say there's been a lot of names floated for a lot of these positions, and then someone else comes out that the president wasn't really leaking, wasn't letting known that he was even paying attention to. The president's going to make his own decision, regardless of what the transition team says, regardless of who they vet. At the end of the day, the president will take their recommendation, but then he's going to make his own choice. And so we've all heard the names that have been floated, but none of us actually know who's going to be there at the end of the day.
Senator, we've heard in many different variations of, well, this transition team is going to do different things than what happened the last time that President-elect Trump was president. And that includes people who have attributed, maybe loyalists rather than some of the things that happened last. Jeff Sessions, I've mentioned a lot. The president definitely wants to make sure he doesn't get into a position where he has someone that goes totally off the reservation with what he does. And you remember what happened with Jeff Sessions. He recused himself from the whole Russia thing. So that might explain a lot of things. And I know you have said you've been asked at least 24 times about the president's pick, president-elect's pick for Attorney General Matt Gaetz. But how do you really explain that? Because the amount of political capital that we're seeing expended here, and just an objective, even if you're on the president's side and even if you, are willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, that is a glaringly controversial pick for a lot of people.
Well, there's no doubt and no question, Matt Gaetz and I have had our differences. They've been very public. However, I respect the president, and I respect his ability to put good people around him. One thing we have here is we have an incoming president that's been there and done the job for 4 years. He knows exactly what he's looking for. And so you have to trust that decision making as he moves forward. It's not like he's brand new. He was the 45th president. Now he's the 47th president. He did an excellent job as a 45th. He comes into this 47th with a tremendous amount of experience. He knows what his team has to get done. He knows where he's going, and he only has 4 years to do it. So regardless of the differences that Matt Gaetz and I have, I have to set those to the side a little bit, and I have to do my job, my constitutional duty on Article 2, Section 2, where it says that I have to advise and consent. That means I have to have oversight, and we'll do that with every one of these picks, and we're going to do it in a very quick fashion because the president wants to get to work and Congress wants to deliver the mandate that the American people gave us.